Now, Anahita, come on now. This is one where we don't need a lot of evidence. The guy, you know, and by the way, it was a 3-hour standoff with him with a gun at his head, talking about what he had done.
Right. No, I agree with you, Dr. Drew. This one is it's not one I'm going to defend. And I actually can't wrap my head. Right. I can't. He's still entitled to a defense, but there's no doubt that he did this. And the fact that 4 of these victims were little kids, it's heartbreaking, Dr. Drew. And he tied them up, shot and killed them execution style. And we know he has a history of domestic violence. He has a criminal record. Was he just a ticking time bomb waiting to go off? I mean, he's getting a psych evaluation now, but I'm wondering why he wasn't subjected to one before.
Well,
with
you're
all
right.
this history.
Well, listen, lots of people engage in domestic violence that slip under the radar.
Right.
Judy and I see this all the time. But the one thing I heard in one of the reports that was sort of telling, I thought, was he was describing how the divorce with his wife went down. He was up in Utah. They had 4 children, and things didn't go well. And by his report, everything was fine. All of a sudden, this woman got up and left me. What's going on? And Judy, that's when the narcissism is evident, is it not?
That's when the narcissism is evident. That's also when you can see when somebody externalizes all of their problems, externalizes blame, puts it on other people, and conveniently has selective amnesia where they don't connect events that led up to the divorce. And so now he is free to then put everything on this other person and say that this person has to pay for all of his sufferings, then bring us back to the narcissism.
Deneen, you get that? Do you agree with that? So it's not me, it's you all. You poisoned my wife. She was great one day and left the next.
This is why domestic violence calls are the most dangerous things for law enforcement to handle, because they're unpredictable, they're volatile, you don't know what you're walking into. And when we talk on this show about how come there were so many police subduing someone in a domestic violence situation, because you don't know if this person's going to go off.
Right.
This guy felt like he had nothing to lose, everything was taken from him. And you know why he didn't kill himself? Because he wants to be able to watch the reaction of his ex-wife, because she's going to be so hurt about this, and he wants to sit in jail and watch this happen.
Welcome back, Deneen.
We missed you, Deneen. But Dr. Drew, I mean, this is vengeance, simple as that. I mean, this sister-in-law, his sister-in-law, that he took her life as well as her family's. It was the same sister-in-law that went and essentially rescued her sister, his ex-wife, from this situation. She moved her out of the house. She moved her into a completely different state. So obviously he's been harboring that, and he has resentment towards it. And he wanted to take her life as well as her family's.
Now on the phone, I have Jennifer Schaefer. Jennifer is a friend of all the family members involved in this case. And full disclosure, she works with my wife on a podcast. It's entitled Calling Out with Susan Pinsky. And Jennifer, I was shocked to hear that you knew this family, and I appreciate you coming on to discuss it. You lived across the street from Ron Haskell growing up. Can you tell us about him?
Yes, I did. And it was, believe me, I've been a very difficult day. But, yeah, his family actually is a wonderful family. They are very well loved.
Were there concerns about this kid growing up? Did he, manifest behaviors or concerning relationships or attitudes or substances or something? Help us understand this.
No, actually, he did not. He did not. That didn't happen till later.
Oh,
in his life.
What happened later?
Well, with him losing his job in January, and with certain things that happened, of course, him being abusive. In his marriage, it wasn't something that was identified when he was younger. No, the family was, in fact, they helped so much other people. They were an incredible family.
Judy?
And so this is shocking, actually.
Judy?
Well, I'm just trying to think about this and thinking about how much it points to maybe some kind of a genetic issue here. In the family was the one that was kind of keeping this kid together while he was under structure. And then once he was on his own, he kind of started to lose it a little bit. So if our caller's still with us, I just wanted to ask her some questions about that. When did you start to see the cracks?
The unraveling.
Yeah.
The unraveling didn't happen until later.
Like what age?
He was the middle child, so during, I knew him when I was young, and he was a normal kid.